In this video, I'll talk to you about main contractor and subcontractor and what are the differences between each of them and what are the rules and the responsibilities of each of them towards the project, towards the client, and what are the requirements from the main contractor and from the subcontractor and all of this. And we are starting right now. So starting with the relationship with the client. First of all, the main contractor will have a direct relationship with the client. Because, for example, if a client wants to build a building, he will go and enter to an agreement with a main contractor to execute this building, this full building. So the main contractor will be responsible in front of the client to execute the full project. Now, in order for the main contractor to execute the full project, he will need the help or the support of some subcontractors. For example, for the things that the main contractor does not do in-house. Like, for example, the full ceiling or the aluminum works or the joinery. These things, general contracting companies or main contractors will not do these things in-house. So there will be a subcontract agreement between the main contractor with a specialist or a subcontractor to execute a specific item in the project. But in the end, in the eyes of the client or in the perspective of the client, the main contractor is the one responsible for the project. So the main contractor will have a direct relationship with the client, and the subcontractor will have a subcontract agreement with the main contractor to execute part of the work. After that, we want to talk about the rules and the responsibilities of the main contractor and the subcontractor in the project. As we said, the main contractor is the one responsible to construct, complete, and hand over the project to the client. So the responsibility of the full project lies under the main contractor umbrella. But when we talk about the subcontractor, he will be responsible only for his part of the work. If his part of the work is the waterproofing, so he will be responsible only for the waterproofing. If he is doing the painting, then he will be responsible only for the painting. Whatever package the subcontractor is doing will be responsible only for this package. But the main contractor is responsible for the full project. And by the way, if the project got delayed, for example, the main contractor is the one who is going to be blamed. Even if the delay is coming from the subcontractors, still the main contractor is the one responsible for the full project in front of the client, as we said. After that, when we talk about the project insurances, actually the contractor all risk and the third party insurance and the workmanship insurance, these insurances will be required to be provided to the client from the main contractor. So the main contractor has to indemnify the client, which means protect the client from any damages that can result due to the construction. If any accident happened or something like that happened, the client shouldn't be affected at all. So the main contractor has to provide all these insurances. But the subcontractor will provide only maximum insurance for his workmanship only. So the main contractor will have all the project insurances under his umbrella. He has to provide them, but subcontractors only need to provide insurances for their labors only, not for the full project. So the works that will be executed even by subcontractors, the main contractor has to provide insurances for these works because he is providing insurance for the full project. So if any accident happened, even with a subcontractor, still the main contractor insurance will cover this and will protect the client from anything that can happen or can result as a damage from the construction. Also to mention this part, if the subcontractor scope of work includes design, then in that case, the subcontractor will be required to provide a professional indemnity insurance to cover the design part of the works. And you can take the post-tensioning works as an example for this. Usually the post-tension subcontractors, they provide their professional indemnity insurance because their work or their scope of work includes design. So this insurance will cover this part. So in that case, yes, a subcontractor can provide a professional indemnity, but in case his works include design only. After that, let's talk about the company license. The main contractor of the project should be a general contracting company. And usually they have some classifications like Class A, Class B, Class C. And the difference between each class is maybe in the amount or the value of the project that this contracting company can take or can execute. But for subcontractors, they don't need to be a general contracting company. They need to be only technical services or fit out company or general maintenance, stuff like that. But a main contractor, he has to be a general contracting company, and his license or his classification in his license should fit the project that he is going to do. So for example, in some classification systems, you will find G+1, G+4, G+12, unlimited. So you cannot make a G+4 company make a 20-story tower, for example. He has to be unlimited in order to do a G+20 story. For example, a G+12 company can do G+4 project because it's under his classification, so he can do it, no problem. But when we are talking about subcontractors, they don't need to be G+1 or G+4 or anything. They just need to be a technical services, for example, or general maintenance. But the activity that they are going to do should be listed in their license. Like for example, a waterproofing company, they should have this activity in their license, or a false ceiling company, they should have this activity in their license, and so on. After this, we will talk about the site facilities. So the site facilities usually are provided by the main contractor. And when we say site facilities, we are talking about things like temporary electricity and water for the works, and the storage areas, and access roads, and offices, and the caravans, and the stuff like that. Usually, these services are provided to the subcontractors by the main contractor, because the main contractor will be there from the start of the project until the end of the project. But the subcontractors or the specialists will come only for a certain period of time during the project. They will work for 3-4 months and then leave, and then another subcontractor come, and so on. So usually the main contractor is the one providing these services or these facilities, unless otherwise mentioned or agreed between the main contractor and his subcontractor in the agreement between them. When we talk about payments, usually the payments are made to the main contractor by the client. So the client of the project is the one that is paying the main contractor. But subcontractors, who is paying them? Actually, the main contractor is paying his subcontractors. Because when I said that the main contractor will have a direct agreement with the client, that means that the client is the one that is paying the main contractor as per this agreement. But the subcontractors, they have subcontract agreement with the main contractor. So the main contractor will be the one who is paying the subcontractors as per this subcontract agreement. So payment to main contractor from client, payment to subcontractor from main contractor. Now regarding the liability of the project, the main contractor is the one liable completely for the project. He has to construct, complete, and hand over the project to the client. So in the perspective of the client, the main contractor is the one doing this job. If he is getting some subcontractors under him, the client don't have anything to do with this. The client sees the main contractor as the one liable for the works. He has to execute the work. Even the works that are executed by subcontractors, they have to be handed over to the project consultant and the client by the main contractor himself. So the main contractor is the one guaranteeing the quality of the works executed by others or by subcontractors. Because as I told you, the client doesn't know anyone other than the main contractor. He is taking over the works from the main contractor only. And actually, that's why the main contractor always in his subcontract agreements with subcontractors, he keeps retention, because after the project is finished, there will be 1 year, the defects liability period. And why he is retaining the money from subcontractors? Because the client is retaining money from the main contractor himself. So why also the client is retaining money? To make sure that if any defects appear in the work, the main contractor will come and will fix them. But the problem is what? The defects can be or can appear in the works executed by others. It can be in the false ceiling or in the painting or in the MAP or something like that. Something that was not executed by the main contractor himself. Still, the main contractor is the one liable to bring the subcontractor who did this work to fix this thing in order to take his 5% from the client, and accordingly he will give the 5% to the subcontractors. And in this video I explained the most important 15 commercial terms in contracts. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And also you can support us by joining the channel memberships, and I'll see you in the next video.